Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you. Again.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Shannon Keegren with Boise State Softball. Summer in Idaho is the best time of year. Rodeos, camping trips, and the hikes that end in views you'll never forget. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're here to get you there. With a team known for incredible customer service, the best new and pre-owned inventory, and a commitment to making your experience easy, friendly, and fast. But here's the best part. Every purchase here helps support Boise State athletics through their NIL partnerships and athletic sponsorships. See you soon at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RoadPaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Good morning, Bronco Nation. How we doing? Happy Tuesday to you. Welcome to another live edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. We're part of the 24/7 sports family. You can subscribe for 50% off at BroncoNationNews.com and get all of our Boise State coverage throughout the year, and whether that's in written form, podcast form, all the various ways you consume our coverage. We appreciate all of you that make this part of your daily routine, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, talking Boise State sports. We get various co-hosts on, various Boise State coaches, players, whoever, talking about Boise State football, basketball, and whatever else comes along on the in the world of Boise State athletics. We are broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sun Cruiser. Pick up a Sun Cruiser today. Blueberry lemonade, strawberry lemonade. Somebody tweeted at me while they were watching I think they were a Braves fan watching last night and said that they enjoyed the blueberry. And I said, good choice there. So appreciate Sun Cruiser. And as always, our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. Jim Sturk and Company, appreciate Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online at lithiafordboise.com. It's Tuesday, so that means we got our man Jay Tust, Broncos Studios host, producer, associate athletic director. I don't know what your current title is, Jay, but does it all there for Bronco Studios, and now is with us here on Tuesday morning. Jay, appreciate you for jumping on. You've navigated the traffic, it looks like, successfully today, and you're ready to go. How are we doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I usually like Tuesday. I don't know what it is about Tuesdays, but Tuesdays after I drop my daughter off, Tuesdays that's like the busiest day of the week when it comes to traffic, and I don't know why, but all is well today.
Well, perfect. Great to hear, man. I like the hair today, man. You must not be going live today. You didn't. Looks a little less jelly than usual. I don't know. Maybe it's the my screen being dirty. That's probably what it is. But I can just put the hat on because I don't do anything to my hair, so it's. I can't really.
Hey, Jay, welcome to the show. You don't look very sharp today, but we're glad you're here. Thanks, BJ. I appreciate it.
All right, I'll do my show with my hair like this. Is that this looks no. Jay, Bronco Studios. Yesterday you had Mike Burns on. Great interview. He's going to join us at about 9:30. So hopefully folks can go back and watch that after Burns comes on today. But another addition to the basketball team. They've got 4. He dropped a little nugget with you, though, that sounds like by the way, Johnny says BJ commenting on somebody else's hair is ironic. Yes, it is, Johnny. That's why I was trying to make a joke and it was a bad one. But Mike Burns said one signing coming and then another one still to come. So a lot of people thought that maybe there was one guy left. It sounds like there's going to be 2. The one that maybe he alluded to is maybe more of a high school, I don't want to say project. I don't know. We'll see. Some things I've heard, but still one more, I think, impact player for this year's team. But 2 guys still to go, it sounds like, and maybe one here in the next day or 2. But obviously Coach Burns excited about the 4 they have in the fold, and as the defensive coach here, I'm certainly likes that. But we're gonna be chatting with him again here in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, maybe you can get a little more specific with Burns there, BJ. That did catch me a little bit, not honestly by surprise or whatever, because we can all count and figure out the roster, but like it does seem like you're right there. Like he said, one guy that's going to be an immediate impact guy, and that feels like another transfer portal addition, and then the other guy, like when you say like developmental guy, that has a negative connotation on it. I don't think that should be the case, but I just think that implies maybe a younger guy. So but they're getting close, man. They're getting really close to filling out this roster. The difference, like being on campus, like as I was walking into work yesterday morning, I crossed paths with Julian Bowie, who was going into the weight room to get a workout in. So running into some of the guys and seeing them around campus is a little different. I will say, like, campus is starting to lose its energy a little bit as we approach the final days of the semester here.
Is this finals week this week, or is that next week?
I think it's this week. Okay. Graduation is Saturday, so I'm pretty sure that's the case. But
I don't miss that part. I mean, I miss the last day when you're done, but I don't miss the preparing and studying for finals one bit.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. It's college was fun, but I don't miss finals week. Yes.
Perry says, I'm loving Bronco Studios, Jay.
Oh, that's tiny to get Perry.
I see 2 cuties on my screen. There we go.
Hey, we found Johnny's burner.
We did.
Let's go.
Mark Moss says, what's up? Don't see you guys live much, so make it count.
Okay.
Right. We'll do our best.
Gosh, now if Mark Moss is watching, man, like the pressure is on now. Like,
no doubt.
Time to have a good show.
Carolina. Didn't say north or south, but I'm sure they're both beautiful there. Appreciate you for watching. Tater Tom saying men's basketball is in trouble this season. I will say this, Jay. I said, hey, they could be bottom third, top third. Like, it's just so hard to project all these guys. I mean, the coaches, you have to trust that they all are going to fit together. And as we've talked about, Jay, the track record, the hit record on their transfers under Leon Rice is pretty high. But I do think that it is really hard to see a guy put up 13 points at Campbell or 12 points at somewhere and go, how's that going to translate to the Pac-12? How's that going to translate to this roster? Like, there will no doubt be people underwhelmed by the roster, underwhelmed by the offseason, sleeping on them, and they'll start, it looks like, I think Bart Torvik had them at 102 right now. Like, they're going to start lower and not have much expectations compared to previous years. I think maybe that's a position that they haven't been in a while. They've had high expectations and underachieved. Maybe being the team that people are not expecting a ton from is a better spot for them.
Yeah, I think, okay, it just goes back to the end of last season, right? And I think that people wanted a little bit they wanted some change. I think that Leon in his final post-game press conference of the year implied there would be some change. And now that maybe that change has happened, but it's not like the object might not appear like super shiny, but it could be like super reliable and good. I mean, I'm not saying that, like, I'll phrase it this way. Do you want to win press conferences or do you want to win the games? And I think that the emphasis should be on winning the games. And that's not to say that they're going to do either or can't do both or whatever. All I'm saying is that they went out and got a defensive player of the year out of a conference. And was it like a conference that's less competitive than I would say the Pac-12 or the Mountain West? Yes, absolutely. But to be a freshman that wins defensive player of the year, like, you got to do a lot right and play with a tremendous amount of effort to even put yourself in that position, let alone win the award. And so adding guys like that to the program that are going to contribute to the culture and things like that, I think has the chance to be a plus. And I go back to, like, that game, BJ, like, I don't know if it's one of the funnest games you've ever covered or not, but going down to San Diego State when you have a tough time making a bucket and finding a way to win 42-37, like I said, I don't know how, like, many highlights are going to make the end of the season highlight reel up from that game, but those are games you remember because you go down there and you're simply the tougher team. And Boise State's won a lot of brick fights in the Leon Rice era. I don't know how many brick fights they won last year. And so trying to get back to that, that identity. And I'm not even saying they steered too far away from it, but trying to emphasize that identity. I think that they're going out and getting guys that they believe can.
And I would say, Jay, and I think you would agree with this, you either like Leon Rice and the coaching staff or you don't. And so you either like the offseason or you don't. I think a lot of people have their mind made up and they went into it. And unless you got Isaiah Harwell or got, Flory Badunga or just some crazy guy, like, everyone's just going to say, it's an underwhelming roster. It's just, but a lot of people, whether they want to admit it or not, I think have their mind made up one way or the other. So if you're on the positive side, you're going to go, I love this roster. Nice, intriguing pieces. A lot of guys that, did some great things other places, and they're going to be more athletic and better defensively and that. And if you're on the side where you are skeptical or aren't big fans of, for whatever reason, then I think you're going to say, they didn't add enough and there's not enough there. And I think there's two sides of it. And I don't think this offseason changed the mind for probably either people.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, I'm just going back to it. Like, okay, let's take like doing some on the fly research here. You look at like the 2022-23 Boise State men's basketball team, right? They went 24-10, went to the NCAA tournament, 13-5 in Mountain West Conference play, ended up taking second in the league. And you look at kind of like the returning pieces on that team. And you had Tyson Dagenhart coming back, which was certainly exciting, but he was a true freshman that averaged less than 10 points per game. You had Max Rice that was coming back, and he averaged 4 points per game and shot 31% overall. And you're like, I don't know how excited you were about him. He only averaged 14 points per game, shot over 40% from three, and averaged almost 5 rebounds and 2 assists per game. So he made that sizable jump. Chibuzo Abo in his first season at Boise State that year transferred from Texas Tech that averaged 1.5 points per game. Like, I don't know how excited you were about him. Najee Smith, like junior college guy, let's give him a chance. How excited were you about him? And then Marcus Shaver Jr., he was one of the returners too, but again, a guy that was coming off a season where battled some injuries, started 21 games, played in 25 games, was averaging, 10-ish.
He's got less stats than like Damari Wheeler-Thomas does coming in.
And that's what I mean. So all I'm saying is like that was a team where you look at it and you're like, I don't know if that team was trying to win the press conference going into the season, but guess what? Won a whole hell of a lot of games. Yeah. And so I'm not trying to compare this team with that team even because I think I've kind of learned in time, like that was a special team. And I'm going to leave that back in the past and we're going to talk about them. But I think it does serve as at least a little bit of a lesson of just like, let the process play out. Let coaches that have been pretty good at developing guys try to develop these guys and let them come together. And one thing I can tell you, and you should again, maybe ask a little bit more about this because I kind of glossed over it yesterday, but like Damari Wheeler-Thomas appears to be already pretty darn active on like group text threads and things like that. And he's not even on campus yet, BJ. And so I think that there's a little bit more of a storyline there to figure out about how active he's doing and what he's doing. I just forgot to ask the follow-up question yesterday.
Again, the proof is in the pudding, Jay. 75% of Division I transfers under Leon Rice have been by our metrics, and I think we were pretty, not easy. I mean, I think we were fair graders in terms of saying if they didn't work out or not. And I think 75% we came up with that you could pretty easily say were a net positive, a net hit for Boise State. So you add 5 transfers, like at least 3 of them are going to prove to be 3 to 4 are going to prove to be like really good players for them when you look at this team right now. And so I do agree that it's tough. Like I said, how does 12 points at Campbell translate? How does 8 points, but the player of the year in the SWAC, how does that, translate? When you're at, these different places they're getting these, you're at a JUCO, in North Dakota, whatever, School of Sciences or whatever it is. Like I understand that. It is hard to say, how is that going to translate? And I get it for fans. They want, that the sexy, huge headline guy. And
it's not going to happen anymore, though. Like, it's not. Unless they want to go out and spend their entire budget on one guy. Like, that's not – it's so hard to do that in this era.
It is, and you can look at it right now. And I mean, part of it is losing Fielder and Meadow, and I understand that. That was a little bit of a buzzkill. Fielder was the one that I think everybody just really wanted to keep. And you look at it right now and say, do they have a player – on their roster that's going to put up the production that Drew Fielder had last year? And the answer is no. I mean, they don't have the guys they brought in the post. I don't think are going to maybe Spencer Aarons emerges and gets, somewhat close in terms of the what he can do. I don't know, but I get that from the fans part. That part was a little bit of a buzzkill, but I also agree with you, Jay. Like all we heard the second half of the season was blow it up, got to have change, and so they are rebuilding the roster. And so how is it all going to mesh together? Would it shock me if it all fits together perfectly and they win 25 games or whatever? Like, no. Would it shock me if they win 17 games and it struggles? Like, no. Like, I don't know what to predict right now because I haven't seen any of these guys practice together. Yeah. I haven't seen any of, like, I'm not trying to be a super positive guy, super negative guy. Like, I don't know. I'm looking at stats on paper. I watch 3 minutes of YouTube highlights. Like, anybody that, like, makes these massive statements, I don't think I just don't like. I love Leon, but Leon has lost this offseason. Brad, please explain. Like, I just don't understand that because how do you know what some of these guys are going to do? And the same guys, as you said, Jay, were ripping on Chibuzo Abo. Oh, we got a guy with 1 point a game. What did he do? I mean, how many people were excited about Abu Kijab when he came in? Like, it's just I get it. Like, that's what this show is. It's what fans are. Like, they have their hot takes and they make their opinions and all that. I guess I just I don't know. I really don't. I think this team could be really good, and I'm going to lean that they are going to be better than not just because I said the track record of these coaches. But for me to say that what Standback did is going to translate or this guy did is going to translate, I'm going to trust the coaches on this. Their track record over 16 years has proven it probably is going to work. I do think, Jay, that we're finding out they're going to have, it sounds like 2 additions, maybe one's a high schooler of some things I've heard. Like you said, not fair to say not an addition, but maybe just not a transfer portal addition, but could still add a guy with some international experience potentially that's been playing at the high school level. We'll see. But the last guy for this team, this guard that they're out there looking for, according to when we had Tim Duryea on last week, and but Mike Burns said something on your show to the effect of he's going to be an impact player, or he's going to be a guy that is going to come in and be a really good player. I mean, if they can get one more really good piece to this team, and I would love, and I know you can't talk about specifics. You work for you're an employee of the university, but the guard from New Orleans that they're linked to, I would love to have a guy like that I saw. I don't know if he's even visited or interested. I'm just, you know how it is. They throw, these 30 schools have talked to the guy, and you don't know if that was one quick text or if that meant they're actually interested or not. But I know there was a guard from New Orleans that averaged like 17 points a game. There's some other names out there, but they still have a chance. And if they can make one more solid addition at the guard spot, I think they're in good shape. But I will say this, Jay, as I'm rambling, I really think that these coaches believe in the players that they have coming back too. You mentioned Julian Bowie. A lot of people are forgetting about him and just writing him off. I think these coaches really, really believe in Julian Bowie and really believe Pearson Carmichael is due for a much better season. They believe in Spencer Aarons and Nato and these guys and so maybe they're going to be wrong, and a year from now we're going to be saying they bet wrong on these guys and it didn't work out, and the fans saw it and they should have seen it. But these coaches, I believe, and that's not getting talked about enough, I think, is that they're expecting and believe there's major improvement coming from the returners as well.
It's funny because I haven't really drawn this comparison, and I think they're different players, but they have some similarities. But I even brought up like Max Rice's jump when he became a big-time contributor. One year he goes from averaging 4 points per game and shooting 31%. And just to add to that, Max had some injuries too that he was going through at that point in time in his career. But then all of a sudden he comes back and he is like one of the biggest contributors on an NCAA tournament team and averages almost 14.5 points per game and shoots 41% from three. Like, I don't know if I'm going to necessarily predict that Julian's going to, jump to 14.5 points per game necessarily, but I don't know why he can't turn into a guy that threatens double figures and shoots it from three at a pretty good rate. I just think those are the things that require patience. And I think another thing on top of it too, I think that, there were a number of times this year when we talked with Leon Rice and leadership would come up, right? And it kind of came up early in the season. And then somebody asked about it again, a month or so later, and it came up again. And Leon Rice would say, like, who's the voice on this team? And a couple times he said me. And that told me like some of the intangibles. Like, I think that when you step back and, man, this team's talented. But I think that when you look at some of the intangibles, which again, the things that might not necessarily win a press conference, I think that maybe some of those things are being elevated with this next team, in my opinion. And that's why you go out and get a Damari Wheeler-Thomas and a JQ stand back and maybe a guy that certainly is a little bit of a project in Jacani, but I mean, like, a big dude that can shoot it like him and has some touch. Like, you see the ball, man, it falls soft on the rim when he shoots that thing. Maybe you attack some of the intangibles and see what they add up to.
Yeah. A lot of talking here about look at the additions of the other Pac-12 additions. We lost the offseason.
That's fine.
Let's see. Somebody else said something else similar. Were you expecting to be on the same level in terms of portal additions as Gonzaga? Like, were you, were you, and San Diego State, like, I know you compete with San Diego State, but like they typically do win the offseason and get high level players to come to their team. Like, Boise State typically gets guys that are underrated or folks don't hype up, and then they turn them into those guys. Other teams get the splashier guys. Like, I'm not trying to, looks like I'm sitting here just defending the coaching staff because like I said, I truly don't know how it's going to go. I'm not predicting they're going to win the Pac-12. They might finish 7th. I really don't know. I just think this immediate writing them off as some people are, and they've lost the offseason just seems a little drastic to me because first of all, they're not done with the offseason. Second of all, like, you knew going into this league, you're going to be facing some very tough teams.
The offseason's barely started.
Yes.
Okay, jokes aside, I guess, Brad, if you don't mind me asking a question back at you and maybe you can reply, how do you win the offseason? How is SCORE kept track in the offseason? And then how is that how does that relate to the scoreboard that will arrive once the season actually does come around? That might seem like I'm asking this in a facetious way or anything like that, but from a fan's perspective, I just want to know, like, how are they losing the offseason right now? Because last year, I think you could argue that they won the offseason with some of their portal additions, bringing in Dylan Andrews and Drew Fielder, 2 Power 5 guys that, Dylan he played on a pretty darn good UCLA team at times. I think they won the offseason. And then, you look at the way last season wrapped up where, I mean, if we're being honest, it was statistically the worst loss of the Leon Rice era. And when it comes to opponent win percentage, like San Jose State had the lowest winning percentage of anybody that a Leon Rice team's lost to.
They had 2 of the worst home losses in the Leon Rice era. They had maybe the worst loss to start the season to a Division II team. Like you said, last year, a lot of people did think they win the offseason. And what did that give you? Yeah.
And that's just what I mean. So I think it requires a little bit of patience. It works both ways, and I personally am pretty intrigued by this team because they're going out and trying to find guys highlighting intangibles and leadership and toughness and things like that, where, man, it's gonna require some patience on everyone's part just to like see how this is gonna play out. And I think that offers a lot of intrigue, if I'm being honest, and I'm excited to see how it all adds up. I'm excited to see Damari Wheeler-Thomas get on campus and things like that, but it already sounds like a lot of these guys are being proactive before they even get here.
There are thousands of basketball players out there, and a lot of them are a lot better than people give credit for or talk about. And just because San Diego State signed 2 guys from Europe or whatever, that just suddenly makes them winning the offseason over guys. Like Perry says, I almost brought this up, but like Javen Buchanan, they signed him out of NAIA. Nobody was going crazy about getting Javen Buchanan when he signed, and he turned into an all-league player in 2 years. Like, again, I'm not trying to sit here and just defend the coaching staff, but I do think some people are way overreacting to rankings and stats and hype, as opposed to trusting this coaching staff that, as you mentioned, Jay, the list of guys you brought in that got very little pub at all and turned out to be very good players. And Boise State's bringing in guys that do have some production as well. So Mike Burns is 4 minutes early, so I got to tone down what I say because he'll
Let's go, Bernie.
Skip out before we even start the interview. But
it is May 5th. We're 27 minutes into the show, and all we've talked about is Boise State men's basketball.
Yes, 27 minutes of basketball talk, and now he's on the phone, so I should just bring him in, even though he doesn't know it, and hear who he's talking to. But all right. So, but I do think. Like I said, Jay, I don't think you're changing anybody's mind. Some people have their opinions one way. Some people have it the other way. Has anything happened to this point to change it? No. But I would say the track record should show that, in my mind, somebody said I choose to lean positive because I can't find it out. Time will tell. I choose to be optimistic. It's healthier is what Perry said. I would also say, like, the track record says, like, that you should, like, and again, is this team going to win the Pac-12, Jay, like with Gonzaga in there and San Diego? Like, I don't know what expectations are this year going into the Pac-12. And I mean, you should have high expectations. I get it. Like, now with the expanded tournament, like, it's 100%. They need to be a tournament team next year. I understand that. But there's just, I don't know. It's a weird, on paper, it looks nice. We'll see who the last guy is, but I'd be fooling anybody if I felt like I had a really strong opinion of how this team's going to do until we see him practice and play an exhibition or get out there on the court.
I think you're also looking at having to wait to find out who a very crucial part of this team is going to be to the last ad. And again, when it comes to roster building in this day and age, you check one box and you move on to the next box and you move on to the next box. You don't figure out a recruiting class, 6 months in advance of the season and develop those guys and just like kind of always know what it looks like. Like it's so evolving, it's so changing. And the last piece could be an exciting piece. I assume it will be, but I don't know. Like, either way, I expect it to be a big piece because that's what Bernie said yesterday.
I agree. Jay, appreciate you for jumping on, man. What do we got for any early promo to tomorrow's Bronco Studios?
I do have one.
I know you can't have better ratings than Mondays with Mike Burns on there. So
it's
everyone
true.
Else is playing for
it's
second
hard.
This week.
It's really hard to follow it up. I believe Bernie at some point in time coached at Central. So we're going back to
Hall of Famer?
Ellensburg, Washington. we're going to catch up with Zach Hill for a minute after he went into the college football or their college football Hall of Famer, just their Hall of Fame, I guess. And then Khalil Shakir is actually going to swing by for a few minutes. Not when I say swing by, I mean like he's in Buffalo, but we're gonna grab him for a few minutes.
Nice.
So
that'll be Wednesday at 4:00 on Bronco Studios, and Tyler Whitmer back in the fold. You can watch that interview yesterday as well on Bronco Studios. So on the Boise State Athletics YouTube channel, you can find all their live and archived content. So Jay, appreciate you as always. We're going to get to Coach Burns here, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, real quick. Congrats to Naismith.
Home run number 2. Let's go.
Jack number 2.
There you go.
And Nelly, almost an immaculate inning. The Reigns boys getting it done. All that money that Dad's pouring into those baseball lessons is absolutely paying off.
We won't talk about the combined 1 for 15 weekend they had the weekend before that, but we'll just talk about
that was when they were like Dad. But listen,
hey, your boy's going to be out there. Your boy's going to be showing them up here pretty soon.
For moments they play like Mom, immaculate inning, dropping jacks. That's the Karen Reigns right there.
Hey, Brooks is going to be showing them up in no time, man. Appreciate you, Jay.
All right, buddy.
Jay Tust, appreciate him as always. We appreciate Lithia Ford of Boise as well. LithiaFordBoise.com. Check them out online, LithiaFordBoise.com. Whether it's new or pre-owned vehicles, now's the perfect time. You can view their full inventory online at LithiaFordBoise.com. Sun Cruiser, whether it's the blueberry lemonade, they got the vodka lemonades, the vodka iced teas, so many various flavors. We appreciate Sun Cruiser. You can pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. ICCU, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. You see Pearson Carmichael there has a deal with ICCU. We appreciate Idaho Central Credit Union. Best in the business. Mobile eBranch online banking, so easy to use. Make the switch today at ICCU.com. I know Coach Burns has taken his kids to Roaring Springs a time or two over the years. Roaring Springs, you can save up to $32 by buying 2 Coca-Cola products at Jackson's. That's right, buy 2 Coca-Cola products at Jackson's, and you can save up to $32 at Roaring Springs. Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. We appreciate the Nicolason family, big supporters there courtside for Boise State basketball, the SN Management Group. Taco Bell, whether it's the crunchy chicken cantina tacos, all the breakfast options, we appreciate Taco Bell. Again, online, TacoBellWorks.com. And if you need that new piece of Blue Turf history, the 40th anniversary of the Blue, you can get that customized jacket there at the Blue and Orange store. And if you need that Boise State basketball gear, we're talking basketball, you can get that gear as well. Online, anywhere in the world, the blueandorange.store.com or the new location there at the Allen Noble Hall of Fame. Again, the Blue and Orange store, best selection, the best prices, the blueandorange.store.com. All right, Coach Mike Burns, nice enough to jump on and join us here, Coach.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Uh-oh. Nope. I can hear you, Coach. You got me, Coach. Are you muted?
DJ.
Are you muted?
Technical difficulties. Can't hear you.
We hear you. We hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Coach.
Why can't I hear the Reigns?
I don't know. Maybe go out and come back in or something. I'm not sure. We'll let Coach Burns maybe dive out and come back in for a second. Is your speaker turned on? Is it connected to a Bluetooth? What do we got here, Coach? Our coach is calling. Are we just going to do this live on the air here, Coach, on the phone instead?
Should I just do it via phone?
Maybe either go out and try to come back in or try the browser again. I don't know if you have a AirPod connected by mistake or something. I don't know.
No, it just went off when you got off with Tust. Let me click out and I'll click back on.
All right, we'll try that again. Sounds good. Nothing like live show here. Coach Burns, appreciate it. Mike Burns, assistant coach for the Boise State men's basketball team, is going to join us. We'll see if he dials back in here, if that works, and we can hear him okay. Coach Mike Burns, can you hear me now?
There we go.
All right. I don't know what happened there. Appreciate you jumping on. How we doing, Coach?
Good. Heard you and Tust talking about the great Zach Hill, Central Washington Hall of Famer. It is the 8 degrees of Central around here because there are many ties to that school. I was actually coaching basketball at Central Washington when Zach Hill was moving the chains up and down the field.
Wow.
As quarterback, yeah.
They let you coach when you were in high school or what?
What's that?
You got to coach when you were in high school?
I wish. That's aging myself. Zach was that. And Leon worked for Dean Nicholson, and with Dean Nicholson at Yakima Valley Community College. Who, for those that don't know, Dean Nicholson is and should be in the argument of greatest college coaches of all time. The run that he put together at Central Washington from 65 through, I believe, 89 was historic. I mean, was the all-time winner in terms of tournament wins at the NEI National Tournament. He won like 24 out of 25 conference championships over that. It was unbelievable. And Dean, to this day, is still very much a mentor to Leon and to myself, and he's celebrating his 100th birthday here.
Wow.
Soon. So happy birthday, Coach Nick, and kudos to Zach Hill. I actually think there's a good story that
are you next to go in, by the way?
No. The Central Western rivalry, Central Washington, Western Washington, is one of the great small college rivalries in the country, I'm sure. And I actually it was Central Western football game. So when they played each other in football or basketball, it was, huge game, big rivalry deal. And I can't remember if Zach was quarterbacking or not when this happened, but the guy that was supposed to run the clock in the press box didn't show up or was sick or something. So somehow I got up in the booth to run the clock. And let's just say there were some controversial stoppages down the stretch of a close game, because I made dang sure that official had fully waved his arms to my liking before I stopped that clock with the Wildcats up 7. So
I'll have to confirm that story with Zach Hill and see if he remembers.
I don't even know if he would know or remember. That was that's a funny one. That was, but great times back then. I mean, just and to watch Zach on his journey. Obviously as a player and now as a coach, is awesome. And we're just lucky to have him here in, with Bronco Nation. That's for sure.
No doubt. Coach, we wanted to get you on, and I know you were on with Jay yesterday, and appreciate you doing it again. But just to kind of talk about the 4 newcomers and the state of the roster and this team. And I guess I'll start it off with a little bit of a tough question right out of the gate, I guess, because you know how fans are. And in the chat here, we got some folks that say you're doing a great job, some folks that maybe we're expecting more in the portal, and you know how it is. You can't please everybody with what you guys are doing. What would you say, I guess, to the naysayers, or what would you be your sales pitch to this point about what you guys have done this offseason? Why do you, and I've said, and I sound like your publicist or whatever, but we looked at every Division I transfer Leon Rice has added since he got here, and we had our metrics gave it a 75% hit rate. Like, you guys pretty much, when you the benefit of the doubt deserves to go when you guys go find transfers, and you may not necessarily get the splashy big names. You did that last year and we saw how that worked out. But I mean, you guys sometimes will find guys that maybe aren't getting talked about, or you don't win the press conference, so to speak, but it ends up over time that you guys win the games. It seems like that may be the case again this year, where some people are going to be sleeping on you guys, whatever. What would you say to some fans out there that are maybe a little still on the edge, or not sure what to think of the guys you've added and who you lost?
Well, I mean, I don't keep track of much of that stuff myself, but I'll tell you this: we're thrilled with what we have joining the program right now, and it's been I talked with Jay about it yesterday. I mean, it's a bit of an arduous task to from the moment you get back from the conference tournament, you're working, and it don't stop until that roster's filled. And so the weekends are usually gobbled up with visits, and then during the week you're working on planning those out and Zoom calls and all of that. But and we're not done yet, but the guys that we have put on this roster to this point are very much pieces that we think fit a puzzle for us that equates to winning. And one of the things we show the recruits that are considering Boise State is we show them a metric that, an analytics group from 2016 through 2023 evaluated transfer improvement and statistical improvement, including win shares and those sort of things. And Boise State was number 1 in the entire country, 368 Division I men's basketball teams. We were number one in the country in transfer improvement. So we do a very, very good job of not only recruiting transfers, but facilitating their development. And so I think you'll see that with this group, and that's why we're really excited about them. And, it's fans are fickle, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, we really believe that we've got a good group put together, and we feel that the puzzle pieces fit together nicely. And I think that's ultimately most important.
Bronco 130 says Burns will stick hand the naysayers.
No question. There will be some ball pressure and stick hands.
What was the I know everyone's making a big deal after the season, they're kind of hanging on to the quote where Leon said got to get some dogs, in the post-game press conference. But what was kind of and again, you're not done, but when you guys had your staff meetings, your whatever after the season, when you guys said, okay, we got 3, 4, 5, I know the number changed, how many roster spots you got to fill, what was kind of the theme of the type of player or what you guys were trying to accomplish when you went into the portal?
Well, I mean, we just, we want to get OKGs, as they've been called around here for a long, long time. And that's our kind of guys. And those guys are just, tough, competitive, team-oriented, team-first individuals. And, that can be a challenge at times in this current environment to find those guys. And so that's why we keep turning over rocks until we find the right guys. And we feel like we've done that. And, it's never, it's so hard to be perfect in this current environment because you're recruiting players and doing things over the course of a 2-3 week stretch. And so you've got to be savvy with how you accumulate your information. And in all honesty, one of the things I think that helps us is, me and Leon and Tim have been around this business a long, long time. So there's very few people we don't know. So we can kind of look behind the curtain to get an idea of who we're getting and what they're about and those sort of things. So, that's kind of the process. And I think that's what's helped us with this current group. And I think we have the makings of a very good basketball team coming up next year.
On the court, though, were you looking for more athleticism at a certain spot? You needed to improve rebounding, defense? Are you trying to change the look of the team? What were was there just, hey, we got to go find the 4 or 5 best players? It doesn't matter if they're the same, or we go, okay, we got to go get more athleticism. What on the court were you guys looking to improve on?
Well, obviously you got it. There is a positional element to it. So you have to start with that. And then from there, you really do have to try to find competitive people. And one of the things we've talked about is, defensively, we want to create more opportunities for our offense. And so when you do that, you're going to have, we want to be in a position to create more turnovers and do more things like that could hopefully open up the floor on the other end as well. And so that's going to take a certain type of player, certain type of athleticism. And I think we have that. And then, you want them to fit together, so you want their strengths and weaknesses collaboratively to make sense when they're on the floor together. So all of those things. But I think Coach's comment was just, it's, hey, the truth is the truth. You can't hide from the results. So this program is and has been elite. And so we intend to be back in that elite realm next year. And, we don't talk about winning, X number of games or this or that. We talk about NCAA tournaments. We talk about championships, and those are always the goal. And that's where it starts with us. And so that process, staying in that process and getting the right people that are able to stay in that process is really important to us.
Mike Burns, our guest, assistant coach, Boise State men's basketball team, talking about the roster building, which is still underway here for next season. In terms of, the guys you've added, they all bring something different to the table, different backgrounds, whatever else. Maybe, not to ask 4 questions about 4 guys, but what excites you about the guys you have, and if maybe you wanted to just either go one by one and touch on them, or we can ask about each guy. But I know when you got Damari early, that was a big start for you, and I know you guys are super excited about the guys you've added after him.
Well, yeah, it starts with Damari, and appropriately so, because I think, one of the things that will stand out to Bronco Nation about that young man is that he's a leader and he's a winner. He led his team last year to the NCAA tournament and was the, conference tournament MVP, which especially at that level of basketball, I think that is, you can have a regular season MVP, but the guy that wins that conference tournament MVP is usually almost certainly hooked up to the championship team, and he's played his best when his team needed him the most. And I think that kind of sums up Damari. And he's got a great personality. He oozes leadership and those sort of things. So it was no accident that that program had the success that they had with him kind of quarterbacking it. And then, the other 3 all lend some different skills to the front court. JQ is one of those guys that I think he'll remind Bronco fans a lot of Najee Smith, because he has the athleticism and the feel for making plays defensively and just seeing the play ahead of the play, and whether it's a blocked shot or a deflection, a steal, whatever, he's gifted that way, and he's just scratching the surface. He was SWAC Defensive Player of the Year as a freshman. So that gives you an idea of some of the things he's bringing to the table. And you get a guy like that out there. They're just, it's amazing that when you go back and watch film of Najee and then you watch JQ, how similar their instincts are in that regard, because they take what are almost certain baskets in some cases and erase those. And that's invaluable to your team defensively, and it starts your break and gets you going offensively. And then Giovanni is, for his size and skill, he's going to be a fun one for Bronco Nation to watch, because he made 78 threes last year as a post
7
player.
attempts a game or something, right?
Yeah, and that's, you can say, oh, it was junior college or all this or that, but that line is still that line, and you still have to make them, and he did. And he's very comfortable doing that. And then you have Dovey, who, the numbers he put up at Campbell last year, 15 and 8, 3 offensive rebounds a game. And he's somebody who's also a very skilled passer. So you combine that group with, Ethan, who we have coming back, and obviously Spencer Aarons, and that front court we feel is in a really, really good way right now. And so it's going to be fun to watch those guys kind of evolve and play together and get better.
And I think you guys really like your returners as well, right? I think that's one area where I mentioned earlier in the show, I think a lot of people are looking at the offseason, whatever, and maybe underestimating a Julian Bowie or the improvement that a Spencer Aarons or a NATO can make, or Pearson Carmichael. I think you guys are banking and expecting to see big improvements from your returners.
No doubt. Peanut's ready to make that next jump. And he's, part of it in a lot of instances is clearing a path for these guys when they're ready. And so I think that path has been cleared for Pearson, and Bunn will also be there. They can play together. But they're also, uniquely different. And Bunn brings a level of athleticism to the perimeter that I think, Bronco fans have seen a little bit of, but they'll be very excited to see more of. And then, you go with NATO and Julian, those 2 guys, both can touch the paint. Both are tough. Both are skilled. They're going to add depth, and, Julian's ability to score the basketball is, I know people were at practice last year during his redshirt year and saw any glimpse of him on the scout squad, it would be very evident. But we have yet to see the best of Julian Bowie, and it's going to be very exciting when we do. And then obviously Spencer, as a freshman, he made a significant impact. Both him and Nato did. And those two, they're roommates. They work hard. They are about the right stuff. They're either in the weight room, in the gym, or handling their studies. And those guys have made great strides this spring. And Spencer had some, a little procedure on his hand this offseason to get him back to 100%. But Spencer Aarons is going to have a significant jump this year. And I think that'll be very exciting to see.
You mentioned yesterday with Jay, you alluded to two more signings coming. I know a lot of folks had thought maybe it was going to be one. You mentioned one was maybe even already done, and then there was another one. When I had Tim Duryea on last week, he mentioned that was before you guys got the most recent transfer. You were looking for a big and a guard. You got the big, it looks like. So how important is it to get that guard? And I think you even said something to Jay about he's going to be, an impact type player. You're still trying to get at that guard spot. Is that something you think could really round out this class for you guys? If you could find one more kind of dynamic guard, because you have Damari Wheeler-Thomas, but I mean, do you feel like you have enough guys that can create their own shot? And is that something that you're looking at with this last guard spot, or is it more of a shooter, or what are you still looking for?
No, we're looking for a dynamic player, an impact guy. And I knowing what we know at this minute, we feel like we're involved with some good ones. So, and we want it to be competitive. We want every day in that gym to be a highly competitive environment, because that's ultimately how you get better. And, there's only so many minutes in a given game. And, unfortunately, we can only put 5 out there at a time. But when we put those 5 out there, the one thing we want it to feel like is defensively, we want it to feel like there's 7 out there for our opponents. That's one thing. And then offensively, we want to be able to play with that pace and flow and create easy baskets the way we have in the past. So, we expect the last pieces will be significant, and they will obviously help the roster. And then at the end of the day, we'll get in the gym this summer and next fall, and we'll fight it out and get ourselves better and get ready to march towards, hopefully a first ever Pacific 12 championship. So
how has that changed things? I know you're going to have it impacts scheduling. It impacts the officials you're going to have. You have to put new patches on the jersey. Like, there's just so much involved in switching leagues like this. What's it like on the basketball staff? And we've heard a lot about the football side of it, but from the basketball perspective, with whether it's league meetings or figuring out conference tournament site and just all the different various things that are coming with this. How's it all going?
I mean, the only thing that's really impacted probably our staff personally a lot right now is just the scheduling part, because there's more games to get. And so that's got us working at that right now, and we'll continue to keep working on that end.
By the way, are we going to see, we saw San Diego State and UNLV get a deal. We just saw New Mexico and Utah State. Are you guys open to whether it's a Nevada or another team that's leaving? I mean, there's only so many teams out here in this part of the country. It would seem like it makes some sense. Do you think there'd be some possibilities that some of those games end up being with some of those teams in the Mountain West?
There's definitely a possibility. I mean, all that stuff's being bantered about and talked about right now. Obviously, until you get it on paper, it's just talk. So, but we're going to have to do some of that. We're going to, try to keep exploring these neutral court opportunities. And then, we'll, hopefully be able to put together some good series like we have in the past. And so all of those things right now are being worked on and discussed.
Well, Burns, that final thing or two for you, because I appreciate your time. But obviously you have this great personality and you love basketball, but what at this point in your career gives you that fire to do all this stuff in the portal and have all these long hours and do all this scheduling stuff? Like, you've done a lot of great things in your career. What at this point for you still kind of has you waking up at 4:00 in the morning, fired up to get to the office and have another day?
It's, ultimately it comes down to the players. It really does. You talk a about Zach Hill and being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Well, I was speaking at a clinic in Chelan, Washington, this Saturday, and I get my phone beeps at 11:30 p.m. Saturday night, and there's a picture of Zach Hill and Brandon Rinta and Eric Davis and Troy Neely, up in Ellensburg. And so guys that 30 years ago I coached, guys that have gone on to be great coaches. Brandon's the coach at Central Washington now, and he played for Leon. And I, literally sat in the halftime speeches at Yakima Valley that Leon and Dean were given, sitting next to Brandon with unique recruiting access, I might add. I don't know. Hopefully the compliance folks aren't listening, but it's just, that's the stuff that does it. You get a phone call from Abu Kijab or Malad Narmouche or you talk to Max down in Australia. I mean, all these different players over the years that have touched our lives, and that's the fun part. And I mean, a lot of hard work obviously goes into it, but when you do special things collectively as a group, that's there's a reason people love to coach this game and are dying to get into this profession. Even with all the stuff on the periphery that people say, oh, this is that or that's that, this is still, to me, the greatest job on the planet. And when you get those, a big road win, you go into New Mexico or Butler or San Diego State or some of these places and steal a road win, or you have a chance to climb a ladder and cut down nets. That's what gets you up and gets you hustling to the gym. And that's the elixir that provides the passion to help make sure that you're just loving it. So when I don't love it anymore, the mic will drop and I'll be out, but I still love it right now.
Well, we appreciate your time, Coach, and I know it's a busy, long time. We'll let you get back to it. I was trying to get you on last Monday, and then when the Mariners swept the Cardinals, I said, I need a week or so at least before I can get Coach on.
Oh, geez. Well, it's like I told you yesterday, the Mariners sweep the Cardinals, and then I have to live, I don't know how long, with Duryea reminding me that the Royals therefore also swept the Mariners. So we got to get some things figured out up in Seattle, BJ. I don't know. We got a lot of pieces. They're not all fitting together right now.
Well, we appreciate it, as always, Coach. Good luck finishing up the roster. Good luck with the schedule. Hopefully you can find some time to get a little break and at least get to the driving range or something at some point here, Coach. But we appreciate it. We know you're working hard, and we look forward to maybe later this summer when things calm down, getting you back on the show again.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. And tell those boys to lay off the off-speed stuff, sit fastball, and drive it hard.
That's the one problem. My son cannot hit a curveball.
He's not unique in that regard. There's a lot of people out there that can't hit the brake.
Are you doing any private lessons? Can we give you a call?
You want to know another interesting story?
If you got time, sure.
We have young AJ Few on our staff now. He's our general manager, assistant to the head coach. He's basically a five-tool guy for us, does many, many, many things.
Yeah.
And this is when you know you're getting old. When I was the head coach at Eastern Washington, I lived as the crow flies probably about 500 yards from Mark Few's house. And on a couple of occasions, maybe it's because he knew I worked for the Mariners and had some special insight to baseball, but Fewy would call me up, and I can distinctly remember me and Fewy in the front yard throwing wiffle balls to a 2-year-old AJ Few working on his hitting stroke. And now I essentially work for the young GM here at Bronco Nation. So yeah, I can hardly wait until your boys are pushing you aside from the microphone and going, "Thanks, Dad. Thanks for showing up today. I appreciate you." And we'll get you back to the convalescent center in the van there.
Well, they've already reached the point
where
where
I'll be going soon.
It'll be here any before you know it. And they've already reached the point where even playing catch with them is a little scary now. I don't get down when my 11-year-old wants to pitch. I got to be pretty careful about getting down in the catcher's stance there these days. I got things I got to protect.
You don't want to catch a short hop now. The velocity's increasing.
Yes. Well, appreciate it, Burns. Good luck finishing up the roster, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks.
One of the best in the business, Mike Burns. Appreciate him for his time joining us here on Bronco Nation News, and they feel really good. You heard it right there with the 4 guys they got, and still more to come. It sounds like it sounds like 2 more. If you heard the interview with Jay yesterday, go back and watch that. But it sounds like in the next day or 2 they already have a commit lined up. My understanding is that might be a high school kid that has some international experience and played overseas. And then they have 1 more kind of hopefully impact guard in the transfer portal to come still as well. So we'll see what the roster looks like here in the next couple weeks. But sorry couldn't get to all your questions in the chat there. There was just too many of them, and we already went almost 30 minutes with Coach. So appreciate all the questions, and I apologize that I couldn't get to them there. But hey, Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, 252-9877, online at BauscherRealEstate.com. Signature Roofing, covering our community more than 2 decades, 1 roof at a time. Whether it's a new roof, whether it's a repair to your roof, an inspection, an estimate, they got you covered. All your roofing needs online, mysignatureroofing.com. Element Fencing, 25 plus years in the fencing company. Brady and his staff ready to help you build that perfect fencing project from the ground up. Decks, pergolas, fences, cedar, wrought iron, vinyl. They can do it all, folks. 631-2790. Again, online, elementfencing.com. Ridley's Family Markets. Shop ridleys.com. 13 locations across the state of Idaho, surrounding states as well, whether it's Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, McCall, you name it. They got you covered. You just want that family-friendly atmosphere when you walk into a grocery store at Ridley's. You just think it just feels local and feels like they're part of your local community. And you can return that favor, folks. And that's shopridleys.com. Find a location near you. Hey, rowpaint.com, Andy Rowe and Company, rowpaint.com. Whether it's interior, exterior painting, residential, commercial, industrial, the concrete coatings that are world famous for your garage or patio, they got you covered, folks. And if you need help, I can help connect you directly with the owner, Andy Rowe, and they'll get you set up at 991-0567. That's Power and People, Pride in Painting, rowpaint.com. And another plug, by the way, for another night out west. Tom Moser's doing a great job talking Pac-12, Mountain West, a little WCC as well. So Sundays at 8. Make sure to join Tom Moser for another night out west talking off-season basketball. And you can do that every Sunday at 8. If you can't watch it live, you can jump on after anytime throughout the week. It's archived there on YouTube. So the Bronco Nation News YouTube has it. The Another Night Out West YouTube channel has it as well. So Another Night Out West on our college basketball channel, our college basketball coverage sponsored by Tom Moser. And you can get that every Sunday at 8 o'clock. Hopefully you will join us for that every Sunday at 8. Yeah, not happening there. Let's see. I agree. Do love Tom. Will be announced today. Sorry if this was a question for Burns. Today or tomorrow it could be. Sounds like it's 6'9" kid. Has some potential. I've heard a lot of good things about him coming off an injury maybe, but if he can be healthy, I've talked to some other coaches in the industry that really like him as a player. So not going to steal the kid's moment, team's moment. Let him decide, let him announce, but it does sound like some good news coming there. And then, as you heard, one final piece after that, they're going to look for a guard that can make some plays and create his own shot. And they want to find an impact player, maybe even a starter at that guard spot. So sign me up for the new New Orleans kid, 17 a game or whatever. This is a international kid who's a high school kid. That's who I'm talking about right now, the big kid. They still need a guard, but the kid they're going to announce, my understanding, is a high school kid / international. That's like a 6'9" kid that I don't want to call him a project. That's not fair, but I've heard a lot his game compared to Tyson Degenhardt a lot. But considering who they've added in the front court, I'm not sure he would be a guy that you're expecting to come in and play a lot of minutes this season. But the other spot, the guard spot, I certainly think is a guy that could be a potential starter. Heard some couple of names. Sign me up for that kid from New Orleans. Like I said, like 17 a game or something. He'd be a massive get, but we'll see. The verdict is still out. So people saying they've lost the offseason and all this. Let's wait and see what the final roster does look like. And I get it. People are going to sleep on them a little bit, but you know what? After all the high expectations the last couple of years, maybe not having as much expectations and flying under the radar is going to be a little better, but I'll throw it out there one more time, guys. 75% is the hit rate for Boise State's transfers. And so they're adding 5. Maybe they're not the sexy names coming from the sexy schools that some of you like. I would say just the proof's in the pudding that they deserve the benefit of the doubt here if these guys are going to come. Now, what does that mean? Is that a roster good enough to win the Pac-12? I don't know about that, but in terms of individual and what these guys are going to bring to the table, these are going to be quality players if the track record speaks, which it has over the last 16 years. So certainly going into a tough basketball league with Gonzaga and having San Diego State, Utah State. Looks like Oregon State's had a great offseason. Fresno State's added some players. So Texas State, I saw, added a big player. So not going to be easy, but could be a fun basketball league, that's for sure. And we'll see what the roster shapes up like, and then we'll see on the schedule as well. But sounded like they're talking to some Mountain West schools, maybe Nevada. I think that makes a lot of sense since we already saw San Diego State and UNLV, and then Utah State and New Mexico. I think a Boise State and Nevada series makes a lot of sense, to be honest. So, and heck, you got to play 16 non-conference games. Play them twice. Play them home, play them on the road. Get a home and home in season. Why not? It's a fun regional matchup, and it's going to be a good quality game at both spots. Why not? They need a lot of games to fill too. So who knows? I'd be all for that. And like I said a week or two ago, make it the first game of the season. First game of the season, Boise State, Nevada. Let's make it happen. Or a game like that, a exciting game, a bigger game than playing a Division II team in the first game, or a non-Division I NAIA team in the first game, or some school you've never heard of, UT, GRV, whatever. Like, no. Make it a little more exciting in the first game. Play a bigger opponent, and then if you lose, who cares? It doesn't end your season like some people thought happened after they lost to the Division II team, Hawaii Pacific, in the first game. So hopefully, I know they like to ease into it a little bit, but hopefully that first game can maybe be a little more marquee game to get people excited about the season. And we'll see what that looks like moving forward. But appreciate Coach Burns for coming on. Appreciate Jay Tust for coming on. Appreciate Sun Cruiser, our studio sponsor. Get that blueberry lemonade and all the great flavors from Sun Cruiser today. And then, of course, our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. New or pre-owned vehicle, make it out to Lithia Ford of Boise, and we appreciate them for their strong continued support of Bronco Nation News. And Lithia Ford of Boise has a lot of great things going on right now, and that includes the hold on, they wanted me to mention something, so I want to make sure that I mention it. Employee pricing going on through July 6th. You've been waiting for that perfect opportunity to become a Ford owner. Now is the time. Come check out the incredible selection of eligible Ford vehicles today. Some exclusions do apply. See the dealer for details, but employee pricing, Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there this spring. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com, for those great deals right now. And again, appreciate you guys. Go subscribe. 50% off right now at BroncoNationNews.com. It is Cinco de Mayo, by the way. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Appreciate everybody for the comments, for the questions. Yeah, I don't know if we have any special Cinco de Mayo plans. I think at least one of my kids has baseball practice tonight. May have the Cardinals game on, maybe barbecue a little bit, but we'll see what happens. But no specific Cinco de Mayo plans as of now. But we do appreciate all you guys for checking us out. We have number 4, by the way. Number 4 in Nathan Carroll's 5 takeaways from spring camp. Today, we're doing it all week. Yesterday was about Matt Wagner breaking out. Today, the tackling. It looks vastly improved. He dives into some of the numbers about how bad of a tackling team Boise State was last year. And if you're a paid subscriber, you can read all about the tackling and why it's going to be better this year and what the numbers say on the analytics side. 50% off for an annual subscription right now to Bronco Nation News. You can also try us for $1. You're not sure what you're getting yourself into? $1 gets you your first month at Bronco Nation News. You can try us out and then cancel it if you're not a fan in 30 days. And no harm, no foul. So give us a shot. 50% off the annual rate. That's a much better deal. But if you're on the fence about that, maybe start with $1 a month and see where that leads. But you can read all of Nathan's coverage, and Chris talked to a recruit. We're going to be posting that article today as well. A lot of coverage coming. Mike Prater columns, my work. So hopefully you'll subscribe at BroncoNationNews.com. That gets you full access to all the 24/7 sports recruiting rankings and national recruiting stories and stories on all the other 24/7 sites as well. But yes, Cinco de Mayo, perfect day to get out to Taco Bell. Probably will be heading there with my younger son having practice right near a Taco Bell, actually. So we end up going there sometimes before, and I think a week or two ago went there after as well. So Taco Bell, appreciate Taco Bell. And yeah, Cinco de Mayo, go get some Taco Bell today. So have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you. Thanks a lot. And if any news breaks, we will certainly have that covered for you. But tomorrow, Mike Prater is going to join me. A special Wednesday appearance from Mike Prater. Appreciate Mike for doing that. And we'll keep you up to date if they announce the commit or the signee or whatever else is going on. Football, basketball, You know where to go. Bronco Nation News online at bronconationnews.com. Go subscribe. Hit the like button. And speaking of subscribe for free on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. You can turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. We do this each and every morning at 9 a.m. over an hour and 10 minutes on today's show. So appreciate you guys. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, 9 a.m. and maybe sooner than that online. The message boards are popping right now. Go get the discussion going there. And we'll see you at Bronco Nation News from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Presentation of our title sponsor at Lithia Ford of Boise at bronconationnews.com.